Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. This movie came out December 1st of 1989, and as we all know, went on to become a Christmas staple in a lot of people's homes. It's a very quotable movie. A lot of people say have quotes or a t-shirt. I myself have a t-shirt on right now from the movie. What is saying on it? This movie's probably sold as much merchandise as some of the Star Wars movies. I don't know if that's true or not. It seems it because everybody has something from the movie, it seems. At least a lot of people I know. As we know, the movie stars Chevy Chase as Clark Griswold. Beverly D'Angelo is his wife. Juliette Lewis plays the daughter in this one. Johnny Galecki plays the son in this one. And of course, we have Randy Quaid as cousin Eddie. There's even some classic actors like E.G. Marshall is in there as the father-in-law. Doris Roberts, who went on to star as the mom in Everybody Loves Raymond. There's a lot of recognizable faces in this movie. From just little parts, of course, Bill Murray's brother's in there as the boss, Brian Doyle Murphy. So there's a lot of actors that did a lot of movies together. A lot of actors worked with a lot of the same actors. I mean, Chevy Chase worked with Brian Doyle Murphy, was in Caddyshack. I think he's also in some other movies that Chevy Chase was in. And Chevy Chase, Bill Murray, a lot of those guys were really the king. Eddie Murphy in the 80s, they were the king of comedy movies. I mean, but this was Chevy Chase's third Griswold movie. The first was National Lampoon's Vacation. Then he made European Vacation, and then this one. Now, the first one's considered a classic, European Vacation. Nobody really talks about that one. I don't remember it that much. I've seen it. I don't remember that movie that much. I haven't seen it in forever. And obviously this one is probably the most popular. This is more popular than the original movie, just because of the Christmas setting, getting together with family, and all these crazy things happening. And my son's still shooting me with his fake gun. He's playing a hunting game on Nintendo Switch. But yeah, I mean, Chevy Chase with this movie, Spies Like Us, Three Amigos, Caddyshack. I mean, countless other movies. I'm having a hard time thinking of them right now. A Funny Farm, that's another one I like a lot. I mean, he was one of the biggest comedy stars in the 80s. Funny enough, the movie's written by John Hughes off of a short story he wrote, I believe. I read that. It was originally supposed to be directed by Chris Columbus, the same guy who wrote Gremlins, and then went on to direct Home Alone 1 and 2. Some of my son loves Home Alone. Then went on to direct, I know that definitely the first Harry Potter. I don't know if he directed the second one. And then he had something to do with some other movies that you would know. But he decided not to do it after meeting Chevy Chase. He didn't think he could work with Chevy Chase. By all accounts, and this is just stuff I've read online, that Chevy Chase could be difficult to work with. And he didn't think he could direct the movie. So he stepped away and they hired somebody else. But I'm going to spoil this movie. This movie's been out for a long time, 30 years. It's had some anniversary screenings, actually, which I saw. The main cast that's still alive, except for Randy Quaid, because I don't know where Randy Quaid is. He was in Canada because of something, I don't know. But I know Chevy Chase was there, Beverly D'Angelo, Juliette Lewis, Johnny Galecki were there doing like a Q&A afterwards. Look, I didn't watch it, but it's on YouTube if you look for it. This movie's basically the Griswolds. In the movie, Griswolds are going out to find their Christmas tree for, Griswold family Christmas. And they're talking about how all the families come to their house, and it's going to be great. That's what Clark wants. And the gags start right away with the rednecks messing with Clark as he's driving along trying to get his tree. And he's does some goofy stuff, gets stuck under a truck, and then they crash into a Christmas tree lot. And then he forgets the saw and has to dig the tree out of the ground instead of cutting it down. And then he classic shot of him driving along with the tree strapped to it and all the roots hanging off the back of the car. My son's laughing. He watched it for the first time last night. Some of the jokes went over his head, but some of the jokes didn't. They landed. And then Clark is decorating his house. His family shows up, all the in-laws, and then his mom and dad come. And as we all know, if you decorate your house for Christmas, the pain of lights not working like you thought they were going to, it could be frustrating. We go pretty much all out here every year, and there's always lights that don't work, and it makes you a little pissed. So Clark loses his temper because he wants it to work, and it goes back and forth, and finally they get it to work. And that's when we're introduced to Cousin Eddie in this movie. Now, we've already met Cousin Eddie in the first movie. I don't remember if Cousin Eddie was in the second one. I tend to think he wasn't, but I remember from the first movie. And as we all know, Cousin Eddie's definitely a redneck. And he pulls up in an RV, as we all know. And he has, the two kids that are with him are younger kids. They're not the ones from the first movie. And he explains where they are. One's in rehab getting cured off the wild turkey. And the other one's preparing for his career at the carnival. And, I mean, Randy Quaid did create a character that'll be remembered forever. I mean, Cousin Eddie, everybody remembers that character. Everybody quotes that character. The shitter's full when they see him outside emptying his chemical toilet into the sewer. Just classic stuff. I mean, stuff that'll always be remembered. This is a Christmas classic, obviously. And then the movie just goes along. There's different stuff that happens. If you've seen it, you know, the dinner scene with Uncle Lewis burning the tree down and Clark has to get a new one. And he kind of goes berserk and then not getting his Christmas bonus. And Cousin Eddie decides to kidnap his boss because Clark said something about kidnapping so he could say stuff to his face that he wished he could say to him for not giving him bonuses this year. And then the cops crash in the house. And at the end with the Santa Claus getting blown up into the sky and they're singing the national anthem. I mean, it's all funny stuff. I mean, most of the jokes land. Some jokes don't, but most of it does. And that's because of the chemistry with the cast. I mean, the chemistry with Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, the kids, and even the adults that play the adult parts and Cousin Eddie, it's all great to banter back and forth and stuff Clark says to Cousin Eddie. I mean, it's all classic. It's all very quotable. Like I said, people quote the movie like crazy. People have shirts with quotes on it. I'm having one right now. People watch this movie every year. I mean, we've watched it 3 times this year. Like I said, my son, we just showed it to my son this last night. We were debating it, and he watched it. Did you like it, buddy?
Yeah.
He didn't like the cat scene, but the cat scene is hilarious. Obviously, if that thing had 9 lives, he just spent them all. I mean, it's funny stuff. If I had to rate the movie, I'd give it a 9 and a half. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. The directing's fine. I mean, it's a comedy. I don't expect, you know, Martin Scorsese directing or anything. It's well written. I mean, the jokes land. John Hughes was good at that. Some jokes don't land, but the Lampoon movies, even Animal House, for how much of a classic that one is, there's some jokes that don't work in that movie, but most of them do, and it's a classic. This is the same way. It helps Chevy Chase is, you know, on top of his game here with his banter back and forth with Cousin Eddie and his wife and some of the other people. Some of the things, Chevy Chase was so good at slipping things in there, and you had to really pay attention to hear what he was saying. He's actually shooting off to somebody without seeming like he's shooting off to somebody, and that he was really good at that. He was kind of the king of that back then, him and Bill Murray. Yeah, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. It's definitely a Christmas classic. Watch it every year. If you've never seen it, which I don't know how that's possible, but if you haven't, I definitely recommend checking it out. That's it for me till after Christmas. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. If you like this video, hit subscribe down below, and I will see you after the holidays. Thanks.